The Knicks postgame show is presented by Tri-State Audi. Visit your Tri-State area Audi dealer today. Mitchell Robinson starting. Cat out with a sore knee. And Robinson, his best game of the year, 14-14. Landry Shamet, his best game of the year, went for season high 20. And another 20-point night for OG Anunoby. He led the way with 27. And the Knicks end up beating the Sixers tonight 105-91. Great to have you with us, Bill Pidto here, along with the Wally Szczerbiak. A wire-to-wire win for the Knicks, Wally. They were up at 17 at the half. Philly did get within 5 a couple of times in the third quarter, but then the Knicks were able to prevail. How'd they do it?
Well, they cranked up the defense. That was a big part of it. I love that bucket Josh Hart got at the end of the third quarter when he just laid it up to extend the lead to 10. This Philly team played hard. We expected them to do that. You got a lot of guys that are playing for their NBA lives and trying to get contracts and get roster spots. But that fourth quarter was a dominant fourth quarter. Another game where they held their opponents under 100, held them to 91 points, 42% from the field. That was a nice defensive effort by the whole entire team. Mitchell Robinson looking healthy, playing 20 minutes. That's a big positive for this team moving forward.
So the 2 times Wally Philly got within 5 in the third quarter, Knicks came down and hit a 3 each time, and that basically stopped whatever momentum the Sixers had. Yeah,
Landry Shamet hit one of them. He's been making big shots for this team off the bench. 7 for 12 from the field, 20 points. I mean, that's huge production. Defense is always there, so the bench is starting to round into form, which is really good with the playoffs right around the corner.
All right, as I mentioned, Knicks never trailed. They were up by 17 at the half, and basically, except for a couple of sequences in the third quarter, coasted to the win.
Yeah, OG Anunoby is becoming the man with no Karl Anthony Towns, no Jalen Brunson. OG is taking over the offense. DeLon Wright, really good contributions here. Used to being a starting point guard in this league. How about Mitchell Robinson with the Euro step finish? He looks in outstanding shape, Mitchell Robinson. He really is taking care of his body. There's Landry Shamet just knocking down shots. And, Tyler Kolek did a good job of finding guys. That was the dunk of the night. OG Anunoby throwing it down. And here's Tyler Kolek just making the right play when he gets an opportunity to get out there on the floor. Filled the box score, rebounds, assists. It was Landry Shamet's night knocking down those threes. 12 threes for the Knicks, and they defended the three-point line. 6 for 31 for the Sixers from 3.
And the turnovers, the Knicks forced 20, and off of the 20, they scored 24 points. That was important, even though the Sixers won the battle in terms of points in the paint. Here now with Landry Shamet. Landry, thanks so much for stopping by, and congrats on a great game. Season high 20 for you tonight. What was the key to your great play?
My teammates were finding me. I have the easy part, just making open shots. So, my teammates we were moving the ball. My job just to try to find some space, and they were finding me, and just shots went in.
Now you have double figures for 4 of your last 5 games after only having double figures for one of your previous 17. What's been the difference in how you've been able to increase your productivity here of late?
Not thinking, and we're headed down the home stretch right now. So I think all of us are honed in on just trying to clean up the things we can clean up, keeping it team oriented first, figure things out on the defensive end, and letting things carry on the other side. So that's been my approach, all of our approaches collectively, and I think we're doing a good job building on some of that stuff.
You guys were up 17 at the half. They cut it in the third quarter to 5 a couple of times. How did you guys then turn it around and end up blowing them out?
They're a hard-playing young team. They're not going to go away. All those guys have something to prove, and those teams. A lot of people don't realize that they deserve a lot of respect and credit in these games. So they weren't going away. We just had to keep playing hard, weather some of their runs. They're going to make shots, and we were able to weather some of their runs.
Thank you, Landry, for stopping by. Congrats on a great game.
Appreciate it.
Wally Shamet, 6 of 11 from downtown. The 6 made threes this season high. He's now 16 for his last 35 from deep.
I like that. High percentage efficiency. 6 threes. That's a lot of threes off the bench. That's impressive.
They have lacked a knockdown shooter off the bench. Maybe he'll be in the playoffs.
Deuce McBride knocks down shots. Campaign knocks down shots. Come on, Bill Pidto.
Not like this.
Okay.
Not like this.
Well,
He has been fantastic in 4 of his last 5 games.
I agree. This is
at a level that they haven't had.
This is good to add another guy into the mix. I completely agree. Outstanding game. I love the 34 minutes that he garnered and earned. That's a lot of minutes, and he produced big time.
Also, DeLon Wright has been excellent. In his last 3 games, he started each of the last 3, and he is almost averaging 10 points per start. We talked about in the pregame, Guy comes in basically out of nowhere. It's his 10th team and his 10th year. What about the challenge for him to be able to contribute now in 3 straight games like this?
Well, when you're a veteran coming in to play with a veteran team, it makes it a lot easier because you know the NBA game and you know every team and opponent that you're playing. And then you add him to a coaching staff that does a great job of prepping guys and watching film and catching guys up on off days when they're not playing. As a result, he's been completely ready to contribute right away.
All right, Monica McNutt, as always, called the game on the radio on ESPN New York. So, Monica, you got 27 from OG Anunoby, attempts a career-high 13 free throws. Mitchell Robinson, best game of the year. Landry Shamet, best game of the year.
Yeah, and all of those things are true, guys, but I actually just want to add to what you were saying about DeLon Wright. We had a chance to grab him post-game on our radio broadcast, and we asked him, because he said it's important for me to stay ready for my teammates. And I asked him what actually goes into that. And he talked about the preparation. He talked about the encouragement of his teammates and wanting to prove that he still belongs in this league. And so he's definitely making the most out of each opportunity and understands that for him, a big piece of that is his ability to impact the game with defense, although tonight his offense was exceptional. Pidto, to your question, Landry Shamet, I'm into the way that this young man is playing down the stretch. It reminds us that he's played important basketball this time of year and into the month of May when you look at the arc of his career. While he has been a bit of a journeyman, don't forget those runs with the Clippers, don't forget those runs with the Suns. And so he has looked more and more comfortable with more time on the floor.
Monica, how about OG Anunoby? Absolutely the man, taking over the team with no Towns and no Brunson. What did you think of his performance tonight?
I love the 13 free throws attempted, 11 of 13 there. I just think this stretch for OG Anunoby, I believe it's 5 games now with at least 28 points, 25 points. He's just been so aggressive. You look at the way that he's been able to do it, scoring both in the paint, knocking down threes. Tonight he hit a couple of threes, but he's looking for contact. The highlight dunk, y'all, a little bit later in the ball game was just the explosion and the power in terms of being able to finish at the rim. And so I love the confidence that he is playing with. That dunk, woo, that was the dunk of the night. The confidence that he's playing with is undeniable, and credit the rest of the team too, because they are looking to him, kind of going through him, especially tonight without Karl Anthony Towns on the floor.
All right, Monica, we'll see about Cat tomorrow night, but we know Jalen Brunson will not play. So how legitimate is tomorrow night's game at Cleveland in terms of a litmus test looking towards the postseason?
All right, on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of legitimacy, I'm going to give it a 6.8, right under a 7.
6.8, okay.
Our stage manager, Betsy, is like, that number doesn't count, but it does count. Thank you very much. And listen, hear me out. The Knicks probably will not be whole either, right? But we all know what the record has been against the top 2 teams, the top 3 teams in the league, if you want to expand it out to Oklahoma City Thunder. I do absolutely want to see this team compete. Now, it could get a little tricky because they need to be at full strength to compete with the Cleveland Cavaliers squad that has been dominant all season long. But I want to see them go out and put forth their best effort. I will be very curious because pregame, when asked whether or not Mitchell Robinson would be available tomorrow, Tibbs said we'll deal with that tomorrow. That's one thing that I'm watching. Are they even going to try to see what Mitchell Robinson looks like on a back-to-back?
All right, Monica, as always, we appreciate it. As the Knicks beat the Sixers tonight, their 48th win of the season, 7 games left. And the magic number for Tom Thibodeau's group to clinch 3rd overall in the East is down to 3. We're going to hear from the coach coming up.
The Knicks postgame show is presented by Audi. Visit your Tri-State Audi dealer today.
Welcome back, everyone, as the Knicks beat Philadelphia tonight. Final score 105-91. Back now from the Corner 3 presented by Michelob Ultra Superior Light Beer. So next up for the Knicks tomorrow night at Cleveland, one of 2 games between the Knicks and the Cavs between now and the end of the season. Pregame at 6:30, game at 7. Let's now listen into the postgame comments from Knicks coach Tom Thibodeau, as always, presented by Chase.
I thought he gave us great minutes. I think his rhythm is really coming around, so we got to continue to build on that. But defensively, his presence is always felt.
Tom, I'm sure too many turnovers for your liking, but it felt like you guys were getting deep paint touches, kind of spraying the ball around. Did you like it in pockets, how you guys were moving?
Yeah, and it was choppy at times. The turnovers, obviously, we got to get those down. I liked our activity defensively in turning them over. I think that was a big part of the game. But, on the gather, we got to be a lot stronger with the ball. Yeah, I think Landry's been playing at a very high level, and I thought Landry and Mitch gave us a huge boost tonight, particularly with guys being out. OG's been on a tear, but we had a number of guys. Josh had timely plays for us. Mikhail timely plays. DeLon ball pressure is a huge factor for us, so he played well also. Yeah, we don't, we want them to be super aggressive, and a lot of them are coming in rhythm and transition, and usually that's when you're going to be the most open. So that first 8 seconds, let it fly, and he's not hesitating, and guys are looking for him, and they're creating opportunities. So it's good team basketball.
Is there a different level of aggressiveness you're seeing from OG in terms of getting to the basket? He's been getting to the free throw line a lot more. Is it just the
just all around, and I like the balance. Even so tonight I like that he took 9 threes too. He's got a great mix going right now. It's attacking the rim, getting to the line, high volume threes. He's not hesitating. It's really good basketball, and his defense is elite. And it causes we had a number of plays in which he was so disruptive, but we didn't come up with the ball, and that's where we got to anticipate when he puts pressure on people. When that thing is deflected, we got to go get it.
I know you'd rather your team not give a lead back to a team, but the response from your team after they cut it to single digits, what do you see?
Yeah, and they play really hard. Quentin is playing great basketball for them, really good basketball, and he's a lot to deal with. And so they're young and athletic, and they play hard all the time. So I give those guys a lot of credit. They've been decimated with injury all year, but they're a hard playing team.
Is that just the end of the third quarter? Josh Hart gets that defensive rebound, gets down there, doesn't throw down a dunk that could allow the time to run out, just lays it up. Is that the ultimate heady play from?
Yeah, his presence of mind, and it was a timely play. It was a much needed play for us, and it sort of gave us momentum going into the fourth. And so, but that's what Josh does. He makes plays like that gives the team, gets the team inspired, and gets you going.
With Quentin, are you seeing anything new from his game? Is he showing anything new? Is he basically just
No, it doesn't surprise me. That's he's a high energy. He's a gym rat. He came into the league with an intensity about him that you knew he would just continue to get better and better. But he's always been a high volume 3-point shooter, puts it on the floor. He's quick, and he's herky jerky, so he can get you off balance. And defensively, he's always been terrific.
To see Mitch get the 7 offensive rebounds tonight, just how encouraging was that, considering
his
status is one of the best kind of?
Yeah, I think it's huge. He's getting his timing back, and you can see it. And as time goes on, it just gets better and better. And he usually has a couple guys on him, and he still has the ability to get to the ball, which is a credit to him. And he's a big multiple effort guy. So we need that pressure. Those extra possessions are huge for us.
Do you think any of the point guards can come back in this trip?
I'm hopeful. I'm always hopeful. I'm the eternal optimist.
All right, so we'll see who's available for the coach tomorrow night at Cleveland. Mitchell Robinson, best game of the year, 14 and 14. You never want to see your guys get hurt, but you're getting opportunities now. More minutes from Mitchell Robinson, more minutes from Landry Shamet, and DeLon Wright's also getting an opportunity.
Yeah, it's a good thing that those guys are stepping up, and Tom Thibodeau always talks about next man up. You got to be ready to play, ready to help the team win. He always says we have more than enough in this locker room to win basketball games in the NBA. So this is a great sign that everyone's stepping in there and playing good basketball. Obviously, it's important to get all those guys back and healthy, especially Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. But Mitchell Robinson, this is encouraging the way he played. Starting the game, playing 20 minutes, looking very comfortable out there. And he just looked like he had it on cruise control. And you saw his dominance. I mean, he dominates the paint. The defense just really controls pick and roll with him out there. You don't see those lobs going over his head. Look at him throwing people out of the way.
How about that one?
That was nice. just having an anchor back there allows your defense to be so much more aggressive also on the perimeter. And this is exactly what the Knicks envisioned, having him work slowly into the lineup, not playing a lot of minutes to make sure he gets in shape and make sure that ankle can handle the workload of an NBA schedule. And so far, so good with his progress after that surgery. And he continues to ramp it up. And then come playoff time, if you have a healthy Mitchell Robinson, that adds a lot to your lineup, especially on the defensive end of the board, and the defensive end of the floor and on the boards.
Welcome back, everyone. Tomorrow night, the Knicks on the road to take on the Cavs. 6:30 pregame, game at 7. Josh Hart, postgame now on Mitchell Robinson's impact on the Knicks' win tonight over Philly.
He's brought height. And he, my fault, bro, my fault. Man, he gave us, a dominant rim presence on defense. Offensively, he's got, someone who's going to set hard screens and roll, offensive rebound, get more possessions. So, he's a huge piece of what we're doing, and it's great to have him back healthy.
When you got that rebound, when did you look at the clock?
I saw I had when I was 3.3 seconds, and I thought I was going to be a little more athletic than what I was. I thought I was a little faster than what I was. So I thought I was going to be able to do a regular layup. And once I got to the three-point line, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to get there. So I just tried to throw it up, and luckily, it went in.
It's a 10 on the dunk level, right? It's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so go to Cleveland tomorrow. We know the narrative about how you guys have done against them, against Boston. It is late in the season. Is there anything in your mind to prove tomorrow night?
I don't know. We've got to go out there and compete. We got we're down. I don't know. No one knows what Cat's doing, but not sure if Mitch is going to play. Obviously, JB and Cam and them. Deuce, I don't think are going to be ready. And it's the second game of a back-to-back. So, we just got to go out there and compete. I think that's the biggest thing. Some games it's tough to put a lot of stock in. But this one, obviously, they're a heck of a team. They're number one in the East for a reason. And they're going to come out. I think they haven't played in a couple of days, so they're going to have energy and attention to detail. So we just got to come out and try to match that energy and compete.
Josh, what do you think of the heater that OG Anunoby's been on recently and the throwdown in that fourth quarter that kind of sealed the exclamation point on the win?
Yeah, man, it's always great to see him going out there and hoop. Obviously, he's someone who's talented that can score. But you see him do that, and also how engaged he is defensively, getting steals, getting in strips in the passing lanes, block shots, doing those kind of things. So it's good to see him, always healthy and playing at this level.
All right, so you're going to be on the game call tomorrow night in
Yes.
Cleveland with Tyler Murray. Josh Hart's talking about tomorrow night. We talked to Monica about the significance of tomorrow night's game, even if the Knicks are shorthanded. What do you think?
Got to go compete. And what I remember about the last couple of meetings with Cleveland is the game looked like it came too fast at the Knicks. You're going to have to deal with how quickly that team gets the ball up the floor. They make quick cuts, quick decisions, and they take quick shots. And the Knicks were not ready for that. So you have to kind of speed up your thinking and your mindset, especially on the defensive end of the floor, because that team doesn't hold back at all. That's one thing I want to see out of the Knicks tomorrow night, is to make sure they can handle the speed that the Cavs play with.
Third straight time the Knicks play the Cavs, when for the Knicks it's a second of a back-to-back.
Yeah, that's tough. That's really tough. You got to try to muster up some energy. But this is why what happens in the regular season, although the Knicks have really struggled against the good teams, especially Boston and Cleveland, you can't overreact to that, because the playoff series is 7 games and it's completely different. And trust me, when you go into a series with a team, you get a book this big. You got film on each individual guy that's 5-10 minutes. The amount of preparation that you spend on each individual player to prepare for one game in a 7-game series, it's completely different than in the middle of a regular season when you don't have that much time to prepare for a team.
And by the way, tonight and tomorrow night, the first of 3 back-to-backs, Wally, for the Knicks between now and the end of next week.
That's crazy. This late in the season to have all these back-to-backs, but that's how the schedule goes. You got to just deal with it, and like Josh said, got to go out there and compete.
All right, so the Knicks, Quentin Grimes, a former Knick, at 26, and the Sixers lost. Knicks win at 105-91. We will take a look ahead when we come back after this. All right, so tomorrow night, the Knicks at Cleveland. Pregame at 6:30, game at 7. And then another back-to-back over the weekend at Atlanta Saturday afternoon, home to Phoenix on Sunday, and then a back-to-back against Detroit, and then home against the Cavs later next week. We're back with more after this. All right, so we'll see you tomorrow night. Knicks in Cleveland to take on the Cavs. Pregame at 6:30, game at 7. And also stream our coverage on MSG Plus now in the Gotham Sports app. Want more than just a post-game show? Link your eligible TV subscription to stream Knicks games free or subscribe today in the Gotham Sports app. Just go to gothamsports.tv to learn more.